Jeff Wondra joins us from Snell Motors for Wheels with Wondra today. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Good to have you back in. I hear you were gone last week.
That's right.
So was I. That's why I was like, Logan was saying, yeah, somebody else was in for Jeff. And I'm like, I had no idea. And neither did you, apparently.
Yeah, we got the varsity squad back.
Yeah, here we are. Well, here we are back in the studio today talking about something pretty appropriate as we get close to this back-to-school time. People are not wanting to hear much about a teen driver feature. What is a teen driver feature at Snell?
You know, I've been getting, it feels like a lot lately. You know, a lot of people are looking at, you know, should I get them that old $3,000 car that starts most of the time? Or, you know, I've noticed a lot of people are gravitating towards leasing, getting a really, really inexpensive lease payment for their child. Because that way they know it's extremely safe, which is the most important thing, but it's really reliable too, so they don't have to worry about getting these phone calls during their work day or at night when the vehicle won't start or the brakes are shaking and they end up spending all that money on it anyway. So, you know, I was looking up some stats on teen driving, and, you know, some of the horrible things are that, you know, 6 teens die in a motor vehicle crash every single day across the United States. And it's things like not buckling up, texting and driving with other teen passengers. That's more of a distraction than texting sometimes. Speeding and then driving under the influence and driving in the dark is another thing, you know, without practice. The fatal crash rate for 16 and 19-year-olds is in the U.S. is actually 3 times higher than somebody that's over the age of 20. So that teenage time, it's really important that we focus on these drivers. Don't just throw them the keys and they pass their driver's test, so they're experts now. But we kind of take a little bit more time with it. So General Motors, they're a car company.
Familiar.
Might have heard of them.
They did some research, probably spent a couple mil on it, and they say that parents are actually a really important role when it comes to risky behavior when driving. So they talk about, you know, coming up with a family agreement, and one of the other big things is just modeling good behavior. So when you, mom or dad, are driving your vehicle and you're text messaging, and your 15-year-old, soon to get their driver's license, sees you doing that, obviously they think that's how driving should go. So maybe just, you know, think of that when you're all together as a family. How are your driving habits? You know, I've been driving for 40 years. Don't tell me what to do. Right. So just know that they're watching, and if they notice those bad behaviors, they might do it when you're not in the vehicle. So technology is a big factor here that's helping out with forward collision warnings, automatic braking, things like that to help your teens while they're driving. But still, being the first-time driver by yourself in the car can still be pretty challenging. So what I'm getting to here is something called Teen Driver, and Teen Driver started popping up more and more in the 2017 Buick GMCs and Cadillacs, and it's basically a really good teaching tool for young drivers so they can develop those safe driving habits. So, like I said, you're not going to be in the vehicle with them all the time, so this is something that can help you, you know, just give those little reminders. So this is literally, you activate the vehicle for the teen to be driving it feature. The first thing it does is it automatically turns on all active safety features. So forward collision alert, what that's going to do is if your teen is distracted and they see their friends on the sidewalk and they're like, look at how cool I am, I got my mom's car, and they're not paying attention, the vehicle will give them 7 chirps if their foot's not on the brake and they're about to run into somebody. So that they'll react, and immediately their foot goes to the brake. It's just a natural reaction, prevents that accident, and that's going to kind of wake them up and say, all right, 10 and 2, is that what they told me? Mm-hmm. Lane departure warning, that's the next thing. Distractions, okay? Some distractions, they're not paying attention just for 1 second, 2 seconds, and they start drifting out of that lane, and then they get into that gravel maybe on the side of the road, and then you got overcorrect, undercorrect. Well, before they get to that gravel portion, that lane departure warning system's going to alert them. And then the last thing is the automatic braking. You know, they'll go as far as actually slam on the brakes for your driver if they're not going to do it, if they're about to run into something or someone. Now, not as many vehicles will have that feature, but that is something that's becoming a lot more common in vehicles. All these technologies just get less and less expensive once they become more common to add to vehicles, so they come in vehicles a lot more frequently. The next thing is radio mute. Now, most of the teens are going to be listening to TJ and Lisa in the morning, of course.
Yeah.
And what happens is when they start the vehicle and start driving, their radio will not play audio until the front and the driver and passenger are buckled up. So unless your seatbelts are on, your radio will not play. There's also a volume limiter. So you can go in the vehicle and preset what's the maximum volume. Because, I mean, think about it. They're going to be jamming out. And that is a huge distraction when they are jamming out and screaming to their favorite song. So you can limit how loud that gets. Speed warning, that's another thing. You know, they're cruising, and let's say they're looking at a Buick. I mean, that thing, you can go from 0 to 100 and feel like you're going 30. It's a dream machine. But let's say that they don't set their cruise and they start cruising along and they get up to 75, 80 miles per hour. That's just simply not safe for a teen driver. So you can set an alarm in the system that will alert your driver once they get over a certain speed. And then, all right, this is the part where everybody got to listen. The report card. So your report card shows the distance driven, the maximum speed the vehicle went. Sorry, kids, you can't lie. The vehicles, it's computers. Overspeed warnings. How many times they went over that warning that you set? How many times the forward collision alert system went off? How many times the forward collision avoidance braking braked? And how many times the stability control system activated? So then you know, summer or winter, how many times these systems go off. You know, you can tell how distracted they are when they're driving. And if the kids know up front, hey, we're going to get a report card from your teacher, a.k.a. car, that shows us how good of a driver you were when you were in the vehicle, that right there, that alone is going to make them a better driver on the road, because they don't want to have that talk with mom about why they had to go 90 miles per hour and explain that, well, there was the semi and there's this raccoon, and just drive the speed limit. So if you want to see more about these features, if you're like, this is really cool, I'd like to see it in person, kind of see how it all works out, or does my vehicle have this? Come into Snell Motors, check it out. We got sales professionals there ready to show you exactly how this works. And if you're thinking, my teen, this is perfect for them, nice, we got the vehicle for you.
All right, stop by and see Jeff at Snell Motors on the corner of Highway 22 and Madison Avenue in Mankato. Get out there during lunchtime today. Get the test drive in before the rain. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Jeff Wondra with us, Snell Motors in Minnesota 93.